right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. I've got a couple of interesting stories for you guys today. The first story that I have for you guys today, let's talk about Nick Walker a little bit going into the Olympia. We're exactly 1 week away. Today is Saturday. The Olympia is next weekend. Next Saturday is the Men's Open Bodybuilding Finals. And going into those finals, Nick Walker is one of the most talked about names in the industry right now. Can he pull off the impossible? Can he pull off the upset? And a lot of people didn't expect him to win the Arnold Classic, I'll be honest. Before we saw what he looked like on stage, I didn't think he was going to win the Arnold Classic. He certainly proved me and a lot of other people wrong at the Arnold, and now everybody is really kind of wondering, can this guy do this at the Olympia? And look, based on what we've seen from Nick so far, I would honestly be surprised if Nick wasn't in the first call-out at the Olympia. I wouldn't be surprised if he was top 3 at the Olympia. I think he's that good. And I'm actually thinking tomorrow should be my official Olympia prediction day. So I'll probably post that tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. But Nick Walker posting a lot of physique updates. This video that you were watching in the beginning. Also, this picture of his midsection, which is a very important point of contention with Nick's physique. It's one of the things that makes him appear a little bit blockier. But to me, I really think the midsection has become a positive thing because of the way that Nick is able to control it. I've said that before. And actually, how deep and defined his abs are, I think, is another strong point of his physique. In a lot of poses, even the most muscular, his abs are so deep and defined when he hits that pose. It makes it look that much more impressive. So not only do I think the midsection hasn't become a problem, hasn't become a quote-unquote bubble gut, I think he's been using it even to his advantage. Even though it's a blockier waist, Nick has turned it kind of into an advantage if you really look at it. But he posted this update of his waist saying they're trying to bring a smaller waist to the Olympia, and also this back double bicep shot. Now, I'm assuming both of these were post-Arnold Classic pictures, meaning they were taken after the Arnold, I'm assuming. But look, I'm really curious to know what you guys think in the comment section below. Where do you think Nick is going to land in this Olympia lineup? I know that Nick made a lot of believers out of a lot of bodybuilding fans after the Arnold Classic. And I guess my question to you guys is, are you one of them? Are you a believer that Nick will be top call-out at the Olympia? Do you think Nick can do what seems to be the impossible accomplishment and win the Olympia on his first try? I'm really excited to see what he's going to look like on the Olympia stage next week. Now, next up in the news, Big Ramy. Another physique update, kind of. A training update. We talked about how the update last time was old in yesterday's video. But we've been getting basically training videos of Ramy, courtesy of Dennis James, basically all week going into the Olympia. Now, it's not as good as a physique update, but it's something. At least it's not nothing. So Dennis has been keeping us updated on the Big Ramy hype train, almost arriving to the Olympia station. Now, again, it's kind of hard to tell anything about Ramy from any of these updates. All you can see are his biceps, his triceps, and his forearms, basically. So it's really hard to visibly gather any information as to how Big Ramy is looking based on this. But if you compare this video to the video from last year's prep where he was curling, and I believe he was even further out in this video. Let's put them side by side here. Now, granted, this video from last year, he's definitely in the goon light, and this really shows what difference lighting can make. Lighting can really make a massive difference in a physique. So I was trying to think, how can we gather more information from these updates from Ramy? And what I thought of is, let's compare it to last year. Let's look at a similar video from last year and see which shot appears to look better. Now, to me, last year's video looks better, but like I said, you got to take that with a grain of salt because there's much better lighting in that last video. But that's really the only thing I can think of to give us some more context as to how Big Ramy is looking compared to last year. Similar videos. Let's put them side by side. Now, next up in the news, let's get into another heavy hitter Olympia update. Chris Bumstead really just showing off at this point. Chris is very proud of what he's been able to put together for this year's Olympia. And we know that last year it was very evident that he made significant improvements specifically to his back, which previously was considered to be one of his weaker points, now really is a strong point. And the amazing transformation that he's been able to make, I think, has been very obvious and impressed a lot of people, but really showing off in this recent update it's even better and it's even wider, denser, more detailed this year than it was even last year. And this video, by the way, has almost 1 million likes on Instagram in the first day. So I don't mean any disrespect to the other competitors, but I really think that this year's classic physique competition is really going to become a battle for second place. Chris Bumstead looks to be nearing his peak. This is his prime. He's really hitting his stride. And I think we're about to see this year and maybe for the next couple of years some of the best versions. I mean, he's so young. He's just getting into it. We might not have seen the best version of Chris yet. Maybe it's this year, maybe it's next, but it certainly looks like he's improved, and it certainly looks like he's not playing any games. Yes, this is another question for you guys in the comment section below. Is anybody right now watching this video predicting someone else to win the Classic Physique Olympia? That's what I'd be curious to know in the comment section down below. Is anybody predicting Chris to lose the title this year? That would interest me. Now, next up in the news, let's talk about Roelly Winkler. Roelly has been a topic of conversation since his absence from the Arnold Classic Ohio. Will he or won't he make it to the Olympia? Now, we recently saw him post a picture to his story of him on a flight, and we were hoping and assuming that that was a flight to the United States so he can compete at the Olympia in Orlando. Now, it looks like that was the case. I've had a lot of you guys message me that live in Orlando saying that you've seen Roelly at some of the local gyms, but even further than that, on the Instagram story of Ricardo Crocky, IFBB Pro, who is in Orlando for the Olympia, videoed Roelly training at a gym in Orlando yesterday. That's Roelly over there squatting. So the interesting part about that is still the will he, won't he question, because honestly, I feel like Roelly has been extremely quiet over the past couple of weeks. Like I said, he didn't really make any public announcement that he was not doing the Arnold Classic, and he hasn't really posted much in the way of physique updates for the Olympia, nor has he really said anything about the Olympia. Could Roelly be there just to watch, or is he there as a competitor? Now, next up in Olympian news, Patrick Moore. Here's a guy that's also qualified for the Olympia. He qualified by winning the California Pro again, which was the show that he won back in 2019 to qualify for that year's Olympia. Patrick, one of the more aesthetic men's open bodybuilders. When I look at Patrick's physique, I'm reminded of the phrase mass with class. Now, the latest update from Patrick, really all we get to see here is the side profile of his arms and delts. One arm and one delt, I guess you could say. And look, the thing that we're really going to be looking for with Patrick is he going to get outsized here? Because I think, so his best placing at the Olympia was 10th in 2019. And then in 2020, he really didn't have a great 2020 season until he won that 2021 California Pro. The season in 2020, his placings were kind of all over the place. And I think the reason for that was that a lot of these shows, he just got outsized. And he wasn't in the sharpest condition at some of those shows. He wasn't comparable to his Olympia shape. So even though he was more aesthetic and a little bit more pleasing to look at than most men's open pros, the conditioning wasn't quite there and the size wasn't quite there. So some of those shows he got really kind of overlooked. So that's what I'll be looking for from Patrick at the Olympia this year. A, can he improve upon that 10th place placing in 2019? And B, how is he going to look from a size standpoint? How is he going to compare from a size standpoint next to some of these guys? And then C, I want to see him match or do better than that 2019 condition. And the final story that I have for you guys today, we've got a recent physique update from Robert Timms, which is the guy that won the Texas Pro. And in doing so, he beat out Logan Franklin and Steve Lorius for the Olympia qualification this year. Two guys that really most people thought if they had gone to the Olympia would be top 10 placers in classic physique. So a lot of people found this physique update to be pretty impressive. One of the things that really impressed me about Robert at that Texas show was his conditioning. He was very, very sharp. Now, the big thing that really is probably his downfall is his lower body. He's got a crazy upper body. There's no doubt about that. But really the challenge I think he's got is his legs. And depending on where he falls, I don't know what he weighed in at for his weight cap, how close he was to actually maxing out his weight cap, but that weight cap could be holding him back. If he can only weigh so much and he's already pushing towards the top of that weight limit, which again, I don't know for sure that he is, but if he is, it doesn't really give him much wiggle room to increase the size of his legs by a substantial amount. But even with that being said, even with the lower body, he's still a guy that I think is going to be very successful at this year's Olympia. Do I think he'll be a contender for the title? Probably not. Do I think he could crack the first call-out? I actually do. But we'll do more on that when we do the Classic Physique prediction video. So that's going to wrap it up for the video today, guys. At some point this weekend, the Arnold Classic UK will be happening. I don't know exactly what the crossover is as far as their time to our time. I don't know when today it's going to be done, when today we're actually going to have the results. But I will keep you guys posted, and I will give you guys an update hopefully sometime today on the Arnold Classic UK on this channel. So make sure you guys stay tuned and subscribe for that. As always, give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. If you liked the video, then like the video. It's free, it's easy, and it helps out a lot, and I really do appreciate it. So that's going to wrap it up, guys. As always, I love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power signing out.